Hey, hey, and we're back,
Hey,
part two.
yep, sorry for my choppy camera, people. Wow,
That's
Game
all
of
right. You
Thrones.
do what you can with the tech you have available. But yes, we are talking about
Yeah,
the fact that the world has begun to move on from the big three. There are other companies out there who are making names for themselves using tech, not just making the games for them, but for offering alternatives. Now,
oh dear.
I would be remiss if I didn't give us all just highlight a little bit of a history lesson. I'm sure those of you who will have some passing understanding of video games might remember the video game crash in the 1980s. Uh, the people often blame ET on the Atari as the reason that it
Smash, smash.
crashed. But I
Yes.
think that's a little bit put the cart before the horses. Pot called the
Mm,
kettle black. The market was
mm,
garbage because every company had their own platform. Every company had their own device that they were playing games on. So the market was kind of drowning in a variety of different devices that all played relatively the same games, but none of them were of the same equal quality. And the pricing was just getting worse and worse and worse. It's more and more expensive. So of course, ET comes along. The company pays through the nose for us to get the licensing to try and get a game out at the same time. The game's garbage. Everybody hates it. There's massive returns, and it begins this basic crash. The entire industry was being propped up by well wishers and drunken executives who were trying to make more and more money. Eventually, it falls under. Along comes Nintendo, and they don't even name it a console. They name it the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, just because the
yes.
term console is so toxic.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, we will make it easy for you to put games on our platform. And all of a sudden, it's easy, it's accessible. Everyone can develop for this thing. They're sending out developer kits to everybody, at no cost. People are making games for Nintendo. Nintendo swallows the cost of getting their device in your house, but everyone makes for them. Nintendo is the only game in town. All of a sudden, playing a game just becomes synonymous with playing Nintendo. It becomes a verb. I'm playing Nintendo. It's a verb phrase.
Good
Doesn't
summary,
matter what
man.
you're playing, you're playing Nintendo. Sega tried to take a stab at that as well, but ultimately, Nintendo has had a bit of a stranglehold on the market until the disc-based. Nintendo hired Sony to create a disc-based system for them. They decided, you know what, we're more comfortable with uh, cartridges. They load faster. We've got a lot more control, a lot more practice with them. We'll stick with what we know. So they went with cartridges for the N64, but Sony was something like, we got this thing. We might as well market it. And bam, PlayStation, beginning of the new era. This base allowed for a lot more information, a lot more visual effects. The cartridges still played better, but discs allowed for so much bigger games. And it just went from there and there. Microsoft were like, yo, there's a lot of money in this thing, got involved. And now we have the big three. Oh, Sega, of course, bobbed out. They were too ahead of the curve, too cutting edge, and they slit their own throat. It's a damn shame because they were good competition, worthy rivals in Nintendo. But hey ho, different gaming ethos. But we talked about that in the past. So here we
Mm.
are, the big three. But really, there's nobody else for a long time. Nobody was producing technology for the gaming industry. You had to go to the big three. The big three were pushing ahead, developing what could be done. Well, we're seeing it different now. I mean, the Switch came out, and I got to say, for its size, for its dimensions, it is a fantastic thing. It perfectly marries a console level gaming with portability. We're able to slip this into your pocket or your bag. If it's not intrusive, it's not overly sized. It works. It doesn't work well, but it works. And people are going gangbusters. I mean, I remember how crazy it was. The first year, every month, Nintendo had a brand new game coming out. People were going bananas. bananas for it.
Quentin
But
Stefani, shut up.
behind closed doors, people were realizing that the portability of gaming was a selling point, was a massive selling point. So along comes your hefty big boy, your Steam Deck, and I gotta say, look at it in my hand. It is
It's
hump of
hefty.
a thing. If I stand up and you get a proportion of me, here's me playing it. It's like
Wow.
it's
It's
almost the
like
length of my
the
chest.
chest,
It is
bro.
massive. It
This
is
is the old
broad,
Atari
and
Lynx.
it's not too heavy, but it does have excellent ergonomics with these grips at the side, and then it's got some
Mm.
extra buttons, programmable buttons at the side for PC gaming. But it is so good. Like, oh my God, I love this thing so much. I can't take it with me. It's too expensive. I don't feel comfortable taking it out and about. If I took my Switch out and something cracked it, I'd be like, damn it, God, I've got to buy a new one. If I took this out and something cracked it, I'd be, fuck, fuck, fuck. I can't afford to buy a new one just on a whim. I'm not going to get a
Yeah,
cheap second-hand Steam Deck.
that's a
So
good point.
I keep this at home. I sit on the sofa and I play it. I sit at my desk and I play it. I sit on the toilet and I play it.
Mm.
Haven't had a bath with it. Probably for the best. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But it's brilliant, beautiful screen and excellent form factor. But it's too big. It ruins
yeah.
the joy of the Game Boy. And so what do we have? We have the
This
Ambenic
bad boy. Yeah.
SP. This one and this. Look at it. Fits in my hands
That is
perfectly.
amazing.
It's got control buttons, and when you look at content, you can just scroll down and look at so very many consoles.
It's
It
very
is
yeah, God. But
chest
I gotta
kiss, man.
say, it's very McDowell's though, would you say?
Odd.
McDowell's. Remember coming to America. Big Mac, Big Mick.
Ah, McDowell's from Coming to America. Yeah,
Mm.
I say it. Early devices felt exactly like a McDowell. Like it was a cheap knockoff. It had that plastic feel to it, and a lot of this strong. Some devices out of China still have that plastic feeling to them. They are still
Mm.
like knockoffs in the sense of the word. But what we're seeing now is not that. We are seeing high quality builds. We are seeing beautiful devices being produced that have the horsepower to play a variety of games from a bunch of periods of time, but also well crafted, conform fitting. I mentioned before that the Odin 2, it was like an amazing device, and I gotta say, even now, it's still like the benchmark. It's the best game under just buying a PC. If you just bought a game, Rogus Ally or a Steam Deck, that's a PC, which play everything.
Right, right.
No questions. But if you want to buy an actual device to play, an Odin 2 is still the peak. But between Odins, not all Odins are made the same. You saw in the little video there was the Odin Mini, which is about the exact same size and form factor as a VPS Vita. That's really good, but it plays beyond PS Vita games. It plays up to Switch games. But for me, there is a new guy in town. Look at it, the Odin 2 family. I'm just going to quickly share your picture. Whoop.
Whispers. Yeah. Let's see.
Here we go. Screen two. This is the Odin 2 family. Share screen. Boom. This is the Odin 2. It is
Good Lord.
nicely rounded. You've got your dual sticks. Obviously, a stick at the top, which is better
Mm.
for PlayStation 2, GameCube games, devices that had a control stick as the primary means of playing.
Mm.
Then you go down to the Mii 2 Mini. That's just if you've ever touched a PS Vita, it's exactly the same size. It is comparable to PS Vita, but it's just got a lot more power under the hood. And
Mm.
then recently they've upgraded to the Odin 2 Portal. And this is a complete glass front. This entire is one piece of glass, seamless, and it bends at the sides for form fitting. This thing is just got an OLED screen, and it has all three of them have the same chipset. They can all play everything. The device is the same. It's just the way you want to play. Do you want one that's more portable, put it in your pocket, or do you want one that's the size? This is almost the size of the Steam Deck. It's only an inch smaller than this, So you're getting the raw power of the original, but in like a more sleek and more comfortable device. And this thing is
Wow.
it's just bananas, man. It is absolutely bananas. Um, and
I
it's
mean,
great to play with because there's so much you can play with it. But it's what do you want to play? Where do you want to play? I got a friend who asked me. I'll
hmm.
wrap up my thoughts, but a
Hold
friend
on.
asked me, I'm interested in getting a device. I want to play classic games, and I said, great. There's three things you need to think about. One, what console do you primarily want to play? What generation do you want to get up to? Because if you just want the older stuff, there are great many fantastic devices for cheap. You don't need to pay out. Just don't go for the higher end stuff. Just go for mid-range stuff because that will play those perfectly. Secondly, how portable do you want it? If you don't want portable, but you want classic, just buy yourself a mini PC. Just buy one of those little PC boxes. Plug it into your TV, put everything on that, and then just come home, wireless controller. Bob's your uncle, you know. And
Exactly.
but if you want portability, there are, you have concessions. I mean, this exceptionally portable. I can fit this in my pocket, pull it out, play, close it, open it, close it. And so you think, what games do I want to play? How portable do I want it? And then finally, you think, okay, within the, how much am I willing to spend? If you are willing to spend more, there are some truly staggeringly impressive things, devices out there. But like an Odin or the Amarok, they are expensive. You are paying for that. The Odin 2 is uh, Odin 2 on from the website because you have to go through the website if you want it good quality. Is standard the Odin 2 Pro is $340 American dollars.
340.
340, which
Mm.
is not an insignificant chunk of change. It's about 60,000 yen,
Ah,
50,000 yen. I mean,
that's
that's
rent. Mm.
yeah, that is a full console. That is, that's
Mm.
paying for a PlayStation 5, and a new one at that. But
Mm.
having the device, being able to go anywhere, play everything, all in one
Yes.
sitting,
The
it's
value.
it's a value. The value is
Mm.
amazing, and I've been lauding and championing this, but I do want to highlight this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Bigger companies are chomping at the bits. We're hearing rumors that other companies are also bringing out their own devices. The market is beginning to grow wild. The, when a
Right.
forest becomes too overgrown, a cleansing fire is natural. But that's just to help growth, to help the stronger devices survive. So
Right.
while it's still crazy and wild, much like the game console market was before the crash, um, we're seeing some real heavy hitters coming out. We're seeing people play with this technology, companies that are outside the big three. The world is changing, and Nintendo's anti-consumer practices, Nintendo's decisions now, instead of supporting gamers, instead of encouraging them to stay with them, they are pushing people away. And there are alternatives. I know that you're never going to get the latest Nintendo game on anything but the latest Nintendo console, but
Mm.
Nintendo has a massive library, a titanic library of games, and they, like Disney, have been throwing those bad boys in the vault and have no intention of releasing them. I'll be willing to pay. I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to be a good consumer. You offer a
Mm. Yeah.
product that I want, and I will pay you for the convenience of it. But I'm not willing to pay to not own it. I'm not willing to wait for you to deign to desire to to release the game that I want to play. No, it's out there in the wild. You can't stop it. And
We
if you're
gotta
not
do
willing to
something.
offer the product that I want, a service that I'm interested in, I can go elsewhere. And now
Yeah.
elsewhere is a damn sight more convenient than Nintendo.
Yep, dude. This is a wow. I mean, your summation is spot on, but I'm really concerned. I mean, I'm thinking there's got to be somebody who can overrule what's going on. And unless I don't know, unless there's some sort of master plan going on. The only thing that I was thinking last week, I think I said it. The two things I think that could save Nintendo from uh, this disaster that they seem to be heading into. One is if they were to do some sort of community bonding, like some outreach, as I say, if you were to make get some street cred, make turn is move away from being a Disney Plus to being a YouTube. My camera's gone blue for some reason. Excuse me, let me just turn it off and on. Three, two, one, off and on. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, yeah, it's better.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I think it's got blue again, but sorry, people. Oh well, I'll try and smash against the wall later. So yeah, so I'm saying if Nintendo's were to switch from going down the pathway of becoming the Disney Plus and this emerging Netflix of what's going on, if they're to navigate from that to becoming the YouTube, where they were to give people ways to earn money through playing on their console, give people some sort of payback for not just watching stuff on their platform, but engaging with the platform, then I think we're gonna have ourselves. I mean, I think they can get themselves more street cred because it's one thing to have the copium and say, oh, no worries, they're still gonna get it in the end. I can go down that road, but there's nothing like when there's a clear winner. It's like Nintendo, you can see that they're gonna win, and they go win, and that's the end of it. Now the other thing is,
Well, before you
uh,
say that,
yeah,
it's good you mentioned like producing their own Netflix or their own options. I think that Nintendo does have an online service which you have to subscribe to if you want to use online games, but they also allow for downloading of free classic games. They had the games library. So you could play NES games, SNES games, N64 games. They've introduced that they were bringing back GameCube games, and that's good. That's really good. That's a fantastic service that would absolutely open up the vaults, give us these things. But what they've done is so piecemeal, it's so slow, just very, very select games. You have thousands, thousands of games locked away. Even the obscure ones, even the third-party ones. Give us the games on bulk. Let us be able to play
yeah.
the clunkers. Let us play the failures. At least out of morbid curiosity. Don't just curate and give us the best of the best. Give us everything. And it's no
That is it.
cost to you.
And yeah,
You're not
this
selling
is
these
it.
things. It's just put them up.
That is it, dude. You said it, dude. I think this is the thing. I don't because again I don't know how much power this Bowser has on Nintendo, but it's funny because you have it's funny. I can see some more progressive ideas coming through some of the old guys. I mean, Shigeru, he's the one who's actually behind a lot of Nintendo Museum things kicking off. That is to say, back when Yamauchi was still around, he said he probably shut down the museum because he's super sealed the vault shut. But
Yeah.
and it's just funny because here's the thing, what you said is very true. If they get miserly with all their old stuff, then people are gonna break into the vault and sell it on the cheap anyway, and which just seems to be happening. So Shigeru, he seems to be the successor to say, listen, let me show you show you how the cookie's made or the sausage is made, or if you will, and make a museum and let us and show you more and more of what we do, the whole process of how we even thought about making games. So this is what brings me to my second point, which is to say, if they were to do something unexpected and creative with their broadening portfolio, particularly namely the museum and theme park, or just other thing, the movies in particular, because I'm looking forward to Mario World, the Mario World movie, which is Mario 2.
Mm.
Isn't it funny, Mario Kart World, Mario World isn't it's no accident. I think that could be like a what's that word? I think an expression. Dark horse, maybe or something. That could be something that could save them. But right now, it looks like on one hand, I can see why some people may think this be a bit miserly um because next thing you know, everyone's gonna have access to everything and AI blah blah blah. And next thing you know, we gotta hold on to something and we gotta get our money some way before XYZ happens. The problem
Maybe
is yeah, the problem is that you can't so bad will or bad taste in your client's mouth at the same time. Maybe it can't be helped, but at the end of the day, you gotta give the audience something because Nintendo, no matter what, let's just say if Sega were making consoles today, right? And it wasn't going huge. There are people buying like people buy the Sega consoles, true gamers. They say, I want to buy it. The people right now who went and bought the Switch 2 first, you got people who actually are genuinely just Nintendo fans and newbies, just lay people. But you've actually got people, but I thinking the main set of people who are buying these consoles early are the hardcore gamers who, no matter what, they love collecting games.
I got a
Even
3DS
if
on a launch. I was there. I pre-ordered. I was there launch day at my midnight
Mhm.
launch. And yeah, before the price drop, before any games were released on it, when it was still, pardon my French, it was still bad. I bought it. I invested because I wanted us to support. I
Yeah,
love the
man.
DS. I love the DS Lite. I bought every version. Every time they brought out a new version of the DS, bam, I was there. I went to a midnight launch of the Nintendo DSi.
After
Who
my
the
own
hell
heart
remembers
ends.
that? Yeah, I put
Oh
my
my
time in.
God.
I did. I supported it because I wanted to. I wanted to
Mm.
support because I liked what they were producing.
This
And
is it. This
so,
is so. Ooh. So now we got. You can't. If you can't. I can't say what they can't do. Say, don't tell me what to do. So here's the thing. They can do what they want, but what's gonna happen is the market. Just like I said earlier on, this whole thing is organic. The market will dictate what happens, and
yeah,
so here we are now. Whenever you showed me all those other competitors that are waiting in the wings because Nintendo have done spammed the Switch so long that it's as I said, they kept it going long for such a long time that the other markets are saying, "All right, you win. Let's all go portable. All of us, all of us." What? Nintendo's like, "What? Really? Yes, all of us. We're coming for you." Oh shoot! Let's bring a Switch too. Too late, mate. We all got a high-tech graphics and a lot more money, and everybody wants, and we can still access your older library with our workarounds. So open the vault or else. So
yeah,
Nintendo's going to
it's
say, "All
quite right.
right."
It's the nature of black market. A black
Mm,
market is because you have it occurs when there is a product or a service that people want. They want this thing, but the owners are withholding it, and it by no natural or normal means we can't access this thing. So we go to darker methods in order to get it. There's a black market for Botox because Botox is a poison, but it's found to help stretch out the skin, prevent wrinkles. Um, so people want it, and but
mhm.
it Botox is held by A1 company. They own the patent on it, and they own the rights to it, and they very carefully control it, which is what you should do with a poison.
Yeah.
But the black market for Botox related products has exploded because people want it. People
Mm.
want it. They will find a way to get it. And yeah, Nintendo's products are beloved. There's a reason why the company's endured. They've worked long and hard to refine their characters, to improve their games. Every generation has got some bangers. Hell, even Wii U has some bangers. That's why they
Right.
ported
Yeah.
them over to the Switch. So yeah, so holding off on this and preventing us from playing these without, I don't know, buying these devices. I feel bad because yeah, Nintendo didn't price people out of the market for these classic machines.
Mhm.
That was millennials. We wanted our with a nostalgia bait. We wanted our devices, and while millennials might berate boomers, and this is a very broad generalization, but the boomers bought houses. They got houses cheap. They bought houses. They raised the value of those houses through hard work, through perfect legitimately means, and they made money back. They built their equity in the house, and then it had more value. So they sold for higher, which is what you're supposed to do. But by the next generation, the house prices were staggeringly high, completely
Right.
priced out of the market. So basic amenities, owning a house became a massive luxury. But what were seen as luxury items, TVs, electronics, when back in the 80s, are now cheap, plentiful. So people started buying them and buying them in bulk and holding on to them. That's meant that older devices are hard to come by, thus raising their value and pricing them out of the market. So the next generation can't buy them. So, you see it in Pokemon cards. The moment a company comes out with some new cards and a bunch of dudes walk in with a shopping cart, buy them all. So, little Timmy's got no chance. We
Yeah.
create value. Value is just what someone's willing to pay. Doesn't matter what it
Yeah.
is. If someone's willing to pay, the thing has value.
That is so
And
important, man.
Nintendo
Intriguing.
has controlled the value of their product by making sure that you get it through them. But
Yes.
we've seen that the company has been aggressively expanding. Bowser, Doug Bowser taking over Nintendo and the new head of Nintendo Japan, they have been making some really, really smart moves, 4D moves. They've been diversifying the portfolio. We've got movies, we've got theme parks, we've got events, we've got ancillary technologies, alarm clocks and apps and whatnot.
You're right.
That
Right.
will cost money to develop. And I think that maybe
Are they getting the
the
funds?
richest company in Japan, it might have the coffers might be a little small. The piggy bank might be running a little low. So maybe they're nickel and diming their
That is a good
classic
point,
fans.
mate.
Maybe they're demanding a little extra money, a little more control because they need that revenue
to
Come on,
feed.
it's Nintendo's next
Mm,
console. Of course, it's going to sell out.
yes, exactly.
But
This
but
is, dude, you
they're gonna
said
get hard for a while for the devoted fans, and then they're gonna reward those devoted fans, and then they're gonna lower the price, which will boom, and everyone will be like, oh, people who are playing it are already devoted fans, and they're gonna champion the device. They're gonna talk about how great it is. It's gonna raise attention. Then they lower the price for the masses by around Christmas time, maybe, and then boom, sell out, and that's a nice windfall that helps fill the bank and helps
makes
fund
sense.
other projects because those things take time to recuperate losses. Nintendo was a big
Oh,
the first movie was a big win for Nintendo. They made some money on it, but no, it's not like a console. They didn't make that kind of money. And the theme park is not something you earn money on straight away. That's a long term thing.
it's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been out for a few years now, but
Mhm.
it's going to take
It's
a few
still,
years before they make that
yeah,
money back. But
yeah, it's like a,
it's a strong investment. I mean, they've already expanded it. They've already added an extra section with Donkey Kong.
right.
Ties straight into one of the first games on the console, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Boom. Yeah,
Yeah,
DK's getting a
dude, yes,
renaissance. Good, but
you're right.
those are long term
Term
investments.
investments. We got buy some Nintendo stock. I think my
Yeah, I
wife is
think
unhappy.
Nintendo's making some smart moves, some good moves, but unfortunately, those moves are not within the wheelhouse of gaming. They used to
Mm.
be all about the gaming, which meant that they put their love and attention on the gamers. They took their love and attention on the developers. They wanted to make it an environment that was conducive for them. Now they are growing into a giant, into a massive conglomerate.
Yeah, isn't that
Nintendo
funny? It's
will
not a
be.
bit.
If it keeps going this way, it will be the new Disney. I have no doubts about it.
If it wasn't big enough, I'll say Nintendo.
Yeah,
You know
it's just
what in what
gaming will
respect to
suffer.
Nintendo? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What I respect more about, I was just about to say, and by the way, great summation. What I respect about this Nintendo more than Disney is how much more integrity they have for their IPs over the years and what have you. But that being said, if the games suffer as a result of this, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think they'll suffer the same way as Disney. Disney have got some agenda thing going on that is clashing with the audience's ideals and certain audience members. That yeah.
I I think Nintendo, Disney is a company that built itself on family friendly and very welcoming and inclusivity. They were inclusive way before it was DEI, before it was woke, you know. But I just think that all of their live action remakes, it just feels very cheap. Like they're
That's the
bringing
thing.
back their classics for a new generation. Yeah, like a port essentially. They're just porting their movies over for the next console to the next tech. You're like, yeah, but they were fine before. We liked the ones before. They were, they
Yeah,
had a visual flair to them. It's the difference between, the latest racing game being so photorealistic and then having a kart game. The kart game is clearly not as impressive as the racer, but the kart game has its own identity. It has its own
yeah.
visual style, which lasts longer. It's why Zelda Wind Waker has endured because it had that sharp, cartoony, cel shaded style rather than a more realistic Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess
Mhm.
looks its age. Wind Waker still looks good. It had a style rather than realism.
That is how you defeat uncanny valley people. Game that just said
Anyway,
you don't try and deceive the audience. You distract them. If anything, the eye. I think don't try and deceive the eye. You give it. You admit yes, this is what's going on. You be transparent pretty much, and ultimately people will begin to add their own value to it because you're at least being honest. People can't be. It's funny. I always ask myself, like, how much does a bottle of water really cost? You go to this shop and it costs this much, and da, 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 da. And sometimes it's I don't know. It's worth as much. It's worth as much as you can sweat out to get it, I suppose. But if that is a bit obscure, what I was trying to say, people was the yeah the first of all everything that came with Dan summarize it. I think is very great because he pointed out. Let's say I'm talking to the audience. Yeah, Dan, right now. This way, I'm talking about you in this second person. Yeah. Well, I'll speak to you because what you said, Yamadan, was that. This nickel and diming thing right now, it could be a way to raise funds for the expanding portfolio, and of course it makes sense. And that thing, what they're doing for the audience, that may end up being the distraction that helps protect Nintendo through this whole audience not knowing what's going on, this restlessness period we're going through right now. In that, if we hear that a new Zelda movie's coming out and it starts to get a buzz, or if we start hearing that Donkey Kong, well. I can't do a Donkey Kong movie. I mean, without. Oh, you know, it's funny.
eh,
Sorry. You think we could? Okay,
It's not outside the realm. It's not outside the realm of possibility now. I mean, we have been announced that there's a Zelda game, a Zelda movie. It's live action.
mm,
I hate that. But we've got a second Mario movie. We've got a Zelda movie on the way, and
mm.
a
It's true.
Donkey
It's
Kong
true.
movie. He's already been established.
Yeah,
For
and
Mario.
right,
He's doing a
exactly.
spin-off
You know,
movie.
right, and
Maybe.
you know, I was gonna say another thing is that we have just a little thing out there, people. Do you notice that in the Mario movie that Cranky Kong was King Kong, but they never say the words King Kong. I think that is because yeah,
They had to do that though. They had to
yeah.
remember Donkey Kong Country was a creation of Rare. They took the Donkey Kong and then they revamped him for a new generation. Classic Donkey Kong became Cranky Kong. New generation, new Donkey Kong. But Rare was sold to Microsoft. Microsoft has the rights to that classic, to the new Donkey Kong. That's why they're
Mm.
kind of changing his visuals, bringing out a new version of Donkey Kong, which is wholly owned by
And
Nintendo.
that's why
It's
he looks so goofy these days. I always say that, you know, ever since
it has to be,
Donkey
it
Kong,
cannot be the Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong. That is
even
Rare's. They have to create a new version.
even though Donkey Kong Country is on the Wii, you know, the ever since Donkey Kong Country Returns, what have you. But King K. Rool, I get it, all those guys are gone. And it's just weird because yeah, you know, it's ever since I mean, it's just always stuck in my craw when I heard his voice sounding like a goofball. I'm like, man, Donkey Kong's supposed to be cool and suave. All right, no, that's Rare's invention. Yeah, so but yeah, here we are today. And yeah, looking down the pipeline, there may just be a bunch of surprises that people don't realize about Nintendo's expanded to this gargantuan juggernaut more than it is already through its expansion into movies and what have you. And that I think that's probably going to be the sneako attack, if you will. That people don't expect. People are looking at the console. And people like to count out. People, oh, I don't know. They call them panicans. People who count out Nintendo. They counted out Nintendo from the Wii U, and they thought it's over. Just give up. The Switch came, and I was like, don't give up on Nintendo. Don't bet against Nintendo. That's my thing. I think what's going to happen is we're going to be surprised with a lot of like the movies and what have you and other stuff coming. And while people are complaining about the Switch 2, next thing you know, like you say, the prices will drop. And next thing you know, people will be seduced by Nintendo again with their new expression
As long as there's a steady stream
expansions.
of decent games, a console is
Mm,
only as strong as its games. As long as they keep pumping games on it,
mm,
then yeah, I mean, when the Switch came out, people were excited, but it was the steady stream of hits of like
mm.
big name titles every month for a period. Just every month, they had something to play, had something to do, and it just kept sustaining it until it hit COVID, in which case everyone went
Mm.
bananas for it.
Yeah, exactly. You stay at home. But isn't it funny because it's a portable thing, but you have to stay home. But I guess you can take it to your friend's house. Oh, well, if you could.
It was the platform you got to play these games. That's why
Mm,
they owned the garden. If you want to play in the garden, you have to go through them. You have to pay the cost of entry. Well, there are other gardens growing. Circling back to the original point, there are other
yeah.
gardens, and some of them are looking pretty good. They are growing nicely. There are companies that are making really smart decisions, really smart moves to show off what is available outside of Nintendo. Now, I will always have a Nintendo console. I may not buy the Switch 2 immediately, but I definitely will because I like Nintendo games. Same with PlayStation. I like PlayStation games. Xbox, maybe. But there are more games available online, on Steam, on just out in the wild. There are some amazing games out there in the wild. There was I mentioned Super Super Mario.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hide the ring. Like, okay, I'm gonna just walk around. Let's see if I can get to a battle. Oh, there we go.
That is crazy.
It's a nipper from Super Mario 3. Yeah,
My
okay, who am I
God.
going out? Who's this? Hey, I
My
have
God.
one of the dragons from Super Mario World. I'm gonna go
Oh,
fight. Oh no, I'm going fight and Ember. Boom.
he'll
He's
die
a
straight away.
grass type
Yeah.
and
He's
bam
through. He's
down.
through.
And it's so much fun. But that's done. I know that's using Mario IP, the Mario
Mm,
iconography. But there are amazing developers out there, home brewed games in like witch's pots of brilliance just hiding out there. There's some incredible stuff. And the point I want to stress is that while Nintendo might be diversifying their portfolio and
Mm.
using the Switch 2 to fund it, I'm not adverse to that. I'm not against that. They're a company, and I like the idea that they are diverse enough as a company that if one side struggles, they don't all go down. When Wii U
Mm.
suffered, people took pay cuts. The company was in a really bad place. What if it wasn't for the 3DS bolstering money, keeping that sales up? The company would have really, really been in a bad place. I'm not adverse to them diversifying. I just frustrated by the fact that the product that I want is getting boned.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the world is bigger than the big three. The world is bigger
Mm.
than the garden that Disney created. There are other companies out there with great products. DreamWorks,
Right.
Illumination, and there are
USJ.
there are other companies out there producing products that can rival, not beat, but definitely rival
Mm.
the big three. Getting your PlayStation, getting an Xbox, getting a Nintendo, it's always a good decision because there's a massive library and there's a lot of customer support. But there are options. Whether you want a game on the go, play some
Mhm.
cute, simpler games on the go, or you're looking for like PC capable, devices. You want to play Elden Ring out and about? Boom, baby.
This
You
is it.
know,
This is it. My game, I don't
you
tell
don't
you.
need to stay in this garden. And I think that if the companies don't start making it sweeter for their gamers, for all the people who have supported them, there'll always be the diehards, always supporting them. But for the
Mm.
masses, we're going to go where the options are.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take away options, buddy, there are other people who are selling them. There are other places I can get options.
Ah, wow, what is going to happen? This is pop culture analysis, people. This is what we do in game pop culture in particular. But yeah, we study this stuff, man, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. As I said, people, I'm moving this month, so at a certain point, we may have to do a rerun for on a weekend or so. But at some point, hopefully, I'll be able to swing by again.
Oh,
What
I
you
found a
got?
boo.
Bloody hell! Great. Wait,
Yeah, I
can
was
you
looking.
catch
I,
it?
I I spent the last like 20 minutes trying to find one of these guys. Because in Pokemon, I always have a Dragon type, always have a Ghost type, always have a Water type. That's like my core. I build my team around those three. I've got a Water starter, and I've got a Water starter, and I've got a Dragon that will evolve into the dinosaur will evolve into a Dragon type. So I just need a Ghost. Like yes,
Can you wait? You can catch them. You get
oh
like
yeah.
Pokeballs, or what do you call them? Mario
Yeah.
balls.
Oh, they're caps. Like
Oh,
in Mario
like
Odyssey,
Cappy.
you throw the cap, whoosh. That's how you capture them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Nintendo
it
must be
is.
like biting their bottom lips right now. But
Well, obviously, it uses the same mechanics as as this Pokemon. So, I can't use ground types against Boo because he's a Ghost type. And Rex, my dinosaur's been paralyzed. Damn it!
wait,
Um,
what's the name of that game, dude? Oh my God, my head. That Nintendo is that Pokemon with guns. The one we talked about.
this one?
No. The other game that is like got sued by Nintendo, but is like Pokemon with guns. The IP looks
Oh,
so
Power
similar.
World.
Yeah, the
Power,
Nintendo
yeah,
thing.
Power World's example.
Power.
There's a third party game that is giving a rise, giving a challenge, and instead of
God,
rising to that challenge, what are Nintendo doing? Screwing themselves over. Right, we have to
there we
leave.
go.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, share, and
Um,
subscribe. We'll be talking. We'll be back soon as we can. But yeah, check it out online.
yeah, mate.
Mariamon, Odin 2.
Yeah, people keep in touch. I'll give it that. I'm gonna drop you a message. Catch you later. Peace,
Peace.
people.